Welcome to the Cabaret of Think Poetry. People, we're here to think. People, I promise you, we're here to think, man. Unbiased. These are the two words, man, but if you bias, you know what I'm saying? You can't be biased to the math, people. Well, means not united with the universal narrative. Means against, people, the bias that has beholded the information that the aristocrats say is the narrative. And we're not finished with the or the UN, not yet, unless you say nah to the United Nations of the universal nomenclature navigation of the narrative. Woo! Tongue twister, people. Via the language, then symboled in numerical articulation. And don't worry, the poet is building an index before the END of this political and poetical text. So far, we got aristocrats, articulation, and there's no need to define what the importance is of navigation of the narrative, and that's purely an assumption because we skip the B word for bias. And if you're like I is or against the universal navigation of this narrative, then you should know with the K that I'm unlike these niggas, nepotist, who are ubiquitous, but in a negative existence. So I choose to wear the uniform that's negative or adversary or against that type of ubiquitous navigation of the narrative. So I uniquely narrate it unbiasedly. Bravadoed info that only assumes the sum by adding the most acute thing ever given to the people. Humans, come on, by learning the math in this biased language which bridges the information with assumption and spans. Bias blocks the real identity of the acute suspect, who's only biased to synonyms of acute information that builds information that is acute, blocked in that acute system. Are you following the poet? So for real, bias is only biased to block the information in the articulate symmetry. So that's a different kind of bias, people, because bi means dual, separate from the una, hence the binomial meaning to the poem. And if you're lost, rewind the poem text again, because it's saying something that is ubiquitous by the narrative's meaning. Come on, appearing everywhere at present. But if you're bias to the belief, I just incorporated in an articulated said script via poem. Well, I suggest you take the pill, the UN pill, because that ubiquity navigation of the narrative that you've been taught, thought, born to ingest as the accurate said script will turn into a unique from novice universal neuro. And then you'll practice that bi part. That's a part of every girl and guy, I know. Asexual for the sexual thinking, folks. People, let me change the word. If you practice that binomial part of reasoning by way after what you think you're perceiving, then you'll be turned out and turned away from the universal narrative. And then you'll start to add the universe's numbers because they will never invert, adjust, or serpentine. Because they're only biased to whatever ain't all the time perfect. Are you following the poet? If you believe anything that inverts or contradicts is in the same system of perfect, then you don't know what I'm saying. And you just listening to the beat and didn't get the information via the articulate announcement said via poem. So you'll remain biased to truth because of your told to think, dunk, opinion, not a unique from novice overstanding. Welcome to the Cabaret of Bell, people. That's all we're doing. You know what I'm saying? You have to be unbiased. If it contradicts, it's not true. That's it. You understand? Or one of them ain't true. You understand? And I just say we live by a governmental thought through religion and science. That's it. And they contradict. That's my purpose of the poetic. Peace, creation, babe. Throw your opinion in the trash, people. Math, topic, opinion. Opinion cannot solve solution or come to conclusion alone. 6 plus blank equals blank. 12-4 revelations for my biblical folks. A third of the demon angels is kicked out of heaven. And I promise you, if you think they can solve solution, then you're biased to what I'm saying. Peace, creation, baby.